What's going on? Why are you so upset? You should be happy. You are a cat. You live a happy life in this house. You want for nothing. You are treated with love. You are treated like a god. Why are you so upset? Why are you making trouble this morning, Mr. Man? Eh? Okay, sit in my lap. Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. 3:35 a.m. Tuesday, November the 4th. I hope you're having a great start to your Tuesday. I tip my big blue mug of coffee to you today. It is budget night. What's going to happen? Wow, who knows what's going to happen after the budget tonight? You're going to see a lot of spending. It's going to be an absolute shit show. And it all depends on the NDP. You know, how does a party that fails so much end up having control over what happens to the government so much? You know, it was right around Christmas last year when Jagmeet Singh, former leader of the NDP, finally pulled his support for the Liberal Party when it couldn't make any difference. What a loser. And then we got thrown into the Liberal leadership campaign, an election campaign, and more Liberal government. I did a video, not right at this time last year, a little bit later, I guess, probably in December, where I called Jagmeet Singh the biggest piece of blank in Canadian political history. And now they're without a leader and we're going into an election, and the NDP have control of what happens once again. Again, bunch of losers. They're always in control. This story in the National Post this morning, all options on the table. NDP to consider abstaining during the budget vote. I think there's one thing that will determine what happens when it comes to the support of the NDP for this. I'll get to that in just a moment. But a little bit from this article from the National Post. Canadians might not be heading to a Christmas election after all, as the NDP is keeping all its options open, including abstention on the budget vote. But at least one New Democrat is breaking ranks and saying she'll not be abstaining. The Liberal minority government will need the support of at least one other party to pass the budget, which is being tabled on Tuesday in the House of Commons. To date, the Conservatives and Bloc Québécois have hinted they would be voting against it. Chances are that will happen. They both have demands of the government, and Carney's not going to give in to any of their demands. Interim NDP leader Don Davies said on Monday that his caucus would not be taking a clear position on the budget before any of its members could carefully read the document. We're going to read the budget, we'll study it carefully, we'll consult stakeholders, and we're going to analyze it through the lens of whether it's good for working people. Keep that in mind, okay? All options are on the table until we read the budget. However, NDP MP Jenny Kwan has made her position clear. I'll not abstain, said the MP for Vancouver East. Her colleague Leah Gazan, I think she's the one who wants to make residential school denialism illegal. I think that's her. Echoed her interim leader's message that nothing's off the table, but said that the New Democrats cannot vote in favor of an austerity budget. Davies says he expects the 7-member NDP caucus to vote the same way. Minority Liberals holding 169 seats, 3 short of a majority, must find support or abstentions from at least 3 opposition MPs to keep their budget and their government alive in the upcoming confidence vote. The vote could happen as early as mid-November, so it's going to be a while before we find out. I am 100% confident that this budget is the right budget for this country at this moment, Carney told reporters at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea on Saturday. This is not a game, he added. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says, we want an affordable budget that will give Canadians an affordable life before Christmas, he replied, adding that will not vote to raise grocery prices and increase housing costs, as the Liberals have done over the last decade. I think he's referring there to deficits. And he talks constantly about deficits driving up inflation and costs for you. Poilievre was also asked if his party had ruled out the option of abstaining. He did not directly answer the question. The Bloc Québécois, which has 22 MPs, has previously ruled out abstaining on the budget vote. The party has laid out 18 budget demands, which include increasing old age security payments and boosting health transfers to the provinces. So they're likely to vote against it. Champagne, that would be François-Philippe Champagne, finance minister, with his new shoes tonight, said there will be no surprises in his first budget. Canadians have asked us to do build big, bold things. They expect us to do things differently. So we're going to make generational investments, deficits that will build our country. Champagne said there will be something for every political party: investments, deficits in housing, infrastructure, defense, as well as more money, deficits to increase productivity. Once again, the question of the budget and the possibility of election dominated much of question period on Monday, as the governing Liberals and the opposition parties took turns accusing each other of wanting an unnecessary, costly election. Davies says it's up to Carney to craft the budget in a minority parliament that can earn the support of one other party. It's not my job. I don't hold the pen. I'm not the government. Conservative MPs have said that they're ready to go. I said in another video that Michelle Rumpel-Garner tweeted out that she's ready to go, and I've got my sign up in behind me there. My guy here in Calgary, Shepherd, I think he'll be ready to go as well. I got my sign ready to go. Now, how do we sit right now when it comes to seats in the House of Commons? 169 for the Liberals. Between the Conservatives and Bloc Québécois, they have 166. So it will depend on somebody from the NDP. So how are they going to vote on this? I think it's going to come down to really one thing. They talked there about, one of the MPs said that they don't want an austerity budget. And the other one said they wanted to see how it worked out sort of for workers. And I think that's going to be the big thing that's important to the NDP. They've been outflanked on the left when it comes to workers and unions. They become irrelevant in that case. And I think it's going to depend on the next leader they choose, whether they are union friendly and worker friendly. If there are a lot of jobs lost, and that comes from federal employees. We heard that they're going to cut some jobs. Those are union employees. And if they cut a lot of union employees, the NDP will likely vote against this. Here are the people who are running right now. Looks like a nice guy, dock worker, union member, president of the International Longshore Workers Union of Canada. So all about union. Unfortunately for Rob, he doesn't have the right genitalia. Okay, move along to the next one. Somebody who has the right genitalia, but just hasn't got a chance. A she, her here, registered social worker who has all of these great ideas for more childcare, free transportation, free college tuition, all that kind of stuff. And then there's this guy who is an all-out communist. He's the one who wants government-run grocery stores like Mom Donnie wants in New York City, who is likely to get elected today. Veteran journalist, worked for Al Jazeera, fine media company, educator and activist, married to Naomi Klein as well, right? So if you don't know what the Leap Manifesto is, look that up. It's been a while since I read about it, so I went back to check it out. And here's basically some of the points that Avi Lewis and Naomi Klein, his wife, wrote about in a book. This is a whole thing about 10 years ago. Full implementation of UNDRIP, 100% clean energy economy by 2050, no more fossil fuel infrastructure, vigorous debate on universal basic income. Basically, Avi Lewis is a freaking communist. Then you've got Heather McPherson, who is actually an MP right now for the NDP. She's the MP for Edmonton Strathcona. She was elected first in 2019. She has a vagina. So she's likely to win. And don't sit there laughing. This is how the NDP rolls. What was it? I don't know if I'm getting this exactly right, but it's ridiculous anyway. I think the nomination papers for these different people who are running here couldn't have more than, 50% cisgendered males signing it. That's how the NDP roll these days. So she's likely to win. I think she's the most logical person. And again, she has the right genitalia. And then there's Tony McQuail. Looks like a nice guy, organic farmer, born in Pennsylvania. It looks like he was a draft dodger as well. So this is the fine group of people that the NDP have running for them. But I think it'll depend on what happens when it comes to jobs tonight, because the NDP want to regain that title of being for the worker, for union workers, right? Right? So we'll have to see what happens tonight. It's going to be a while before we find out whether there is a vote of non-confidence. I'm still thinking there's going to be enough of the NDP to vote against the budget, and we'll see an election before Christmas. Tell me what you think in the comments. Let me know. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. I'll see you in the next one.